warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, dear examiner Dr. Dewi Susita M.Si, dear examiner Dr. Christian Wiradendi Wolor SAMM, dear examiner Dr. Agung Wahyu STMN. My name is Zulvie Karisma Hadi, and on this occasion, I would like to present my thesis entitled The Impact of Job Involvement and Job Satisfaction on Organizational Citizenship Behavior Toward Employees of PT Top Karir Indonesia. The revolution of Industry 4.0, or best known as digital era, has brought many changes in life. One of them is the development of science and technology. The development of science and technology affects the tougher competition and also the bigger market opportunities for our economic society. These are the challenges for any companies to be excellent in the market. So how do the companies deal with these challenges? The first one, they have to do the research and development, and the second one, they have to enhance the human resources quality. The success factor of a company is determined by its human resources because they are the ones who control, maintain, and develop the organization to face changes in various times. Because of that, companies need to manage and develop the quality of human resources, which is an important asset for the company. In order to enhance the satisfaction and loyalty of its users and customers, PT Top Karir Indonesia needs to be committed to continuously improving the quality of its services. One of them is through improving the quality of human resources by implementing organizational citizenship behavior. According to Cottrell et al., Koning and Van Cleef, and Ma et al., employees who have a strong organizational citizenship behavior will be more loyal to their company because OCB is believed to be able to increase organizational effectiveness that leads to success. Employees who feel involved in the organization in general will reward positive behavior, which is known as OCB. Kim et al. Also say that OCB can promote cost savings, faster job completion, and optimization of resources. Although OCB has an important role for companies, in fact, only a few companies include OCB in the reward system. This is the statement from Chahal. To discover more about the HR problems in PT Top Karir Indonesia, the researcher needs to see some of data related to human resource quality. The first one, the researcher looked into the employee absentee, shows that absentee level in the company still relatively high, especially for the alpha category. The next data that the researcher take a look at is the tardiness record. Tardiness record data are usually known as the number of employees who are coming late to the office, actually influenced by many factors. But most importantly, this problem is related to some dimensions of organizational citizenship behavior. According to research conducted by Fadoli, OCB positively affects absenteeism and job satisfaction. This is supported in line with the statement cited by Shannon and Moran in the research of Nawai and Harris in 2017 that the absentee level is an example of organizational inefficiency, which refers to conscientiousness dimension of OCB. In addition, it was also stated that employees who did not include information when they were absent did not reflect the courtesy dimension of organizational citizenship behavior. According to Wirawan in 2014, OCB can be influenced by a number of factors, including organizational culture, organizational climate, job satisfaction, organizational commitment, transformational leadership, and servant leadership, employee social responsibility, employee age, work involvement, collectivism, and organizational justice. To investigate more about the most influencing factors of OCB, the researcher do the pre-research for OCB factors. And the results shows that 21.05% of employees answer the job satisfaction, and also 24.21% answer the job involvement. According to Wirawan in 2018, the companies not only need employees who perform only certain tasks or roles, but the companies also need the employees who can do extra behavior or behavior that is not included in the employee's formal job description, but will be very beneficial for the companies to achieve their goals. That's why the OCB is very necessary for the companies, because OCB can make the employees to do some benefits such as effective teamwork, help and even replace colleagues in their duties, have the initiative to do the extra work, minimize to avoid conflicts in the workplace, being respect and complying with applicable regulations, tolerating less than ideal situations, and also giving constructive advice to the company and not wasting their time at the office. Next, the objective of the research are to discover the description of job involvement, job satisfaction, and OCB in PT Top Karir Indonesia employees. The second one, to discover the positive effect of job involvement on organizational citizenship behavior in PT Top Karir Indonesia employees. And the third one is to discover effect of job satisfaction on organizational citizenship behavior in PT Top Karir Indonesia employees. Next is the novelty of the research. There has been a lot of research on organizational citizenship behavior, but most of the research has been carried out at corporate and educational institutions. That is why researcher wants and interested to conduct research on startups. Researchers also made novelties by using attendance record data as a pre-research to analyze OCB problems, especially for the dimensions of conscientiousness and courtesy in OCB. According to the statement from the experts, the definition of OCB can be synthesized as the ability of employees to behave beyond roles, job descriptions that can contribute to the success and effectiveness of organizational functions. On this research, researchers use the dimension proposed by Organ, which is also used by Priyansa in 2016. The dimensions are: first, altruism. The second one is courtesy. The third one is civic virtue. The fourth one is conscientiousness. And the fifth one is sportsmanship. Next is job involvement. Job involvement can be defined as the level that can be reached by employees to participate or to be involved in a job within the scope of their organization. According to some experts, the researchers select some dimensions of job involvement. The first one is response to work. The second one is expression of being job involved. The third one is sense of duty. And the last is feeling about unfinished work and absenteeism. Job satisfaction can be defined as an attitude of employees, which can be the form of a positive attitude if the employees are satisfied, or a negative attitude if the employees are not satisfied with the matters related to work. In this research, employees use the dimensions. They are the work itself. The second one is pay, and then supervisors, co-workers, and the last is promotion. Next, what is the relationship between job involvement and organizational citizenship behavior? As one of the factors that affect OCB, job involvement is an important aspect that must be owned by the employees, because with job involvement, employees can identify tasks and participate actively in their work and prioritize their performance to respect themselves. This is a statement from Probit and Culture in 2012. Research conducted by Angreini et al. In 2019 stated that job involvement affects OCB. And also several studies shown a positive effect of job involvement on OCB, including research from Wirawan in 2018, Patras in 2017, Pujio and Sahra in 2019, and also TN San in 2012, states that employees will be more motivated to share knowledge with other employees if their level of work involvement is high and they are satisfied with their work. So that job involvement can be one of the reasons of the formation of OCB. To Roberts and Culture in 2012, employees with high job involvement can recognize and pay attention to their type of work well, and also affect the lower absenteeism level. Next, the researcher will explain the relationship between job satisfaction and organizational citizenship behavior. According to Kim, in the research of Tariq et al. In 2016, employees with a high level of job satisfaction will produce a high level of OCB. Research conducted by Tanto and Laura in 2019 states that in addition to job involvement, job satisfaction also positively affects organizational citizenship behavior. Referring to the research results of Suara Geta in 2016, job satisfaction has a positive and significant effect on improving OCB, and also the research shows that job involvement can form extra behaviors that can influence OCB behavior in employees. In addition, job satisfaction is related to feeling happy in several main aspects of work with positive response that will be a driving factor for the strengthening of OCB behavior. Likewise with research by Claudia in 2018, which states that job satisfaction has a significant positive effect on increasing OCB. It shows that increasing OCB increases along with the perceived job satisfaction of employees. This is in line with research conducted by Nawai and Harris in 2017, which shows that low job satisfaction will lead to low OCB attitudes to employees. So based on the previous research and framework of thinking, it can be stated that there is an effect of job involvement and job satisfaction on organizational citizenship behavior. The hypothesis of this research contains of two hypotheses. The first null hypothesis sounds job involvement does not affect the increase of organizational citizenship behavior. The alternative hypothesis is job involvement affects the increase of organizational citizenship behavior. The second null hypothesis of this research is job satisfaction does not affect the increase of organizational citizenship behavior. And the alternative hypothesis of second hypothesis is job satisfaction affects the increase of organizational citizenship behavior. This research takes place in PT Karir Indonesia in May 2020 until finished. And the researcher do the approach in this research by conducting the descriptive and explanatory method, and also use the data collection method with questionnaire. The sample of this research is the whole population of PT Karir, which has the number of 77 employees. The sample of this research is 77 employees in PT Karir Indonesia, and the researcher used saturated sample method in this research. Next, the instrument arrangement of this research is job involvement stated as the independent variable or X1, and the job satisfaction noted by X2, which is also the independent variable, and the dependent variable in this research is OCB, or stated by the notation Y. Referring to Ferdinand in Kahvi et al. In 2017, this research used the interval measurement scale. According to Sugiono in 2015, the use of intervals of 1 to 4 is more appropriate because if we use interval for 1 to 5, there might be bias of the research because the respondent might use the option of 3, which indicates that they are not really sure about the answer of the questionnaire itself. Next, the interval scale can be interpreted in an instrument that uses a 4-point scale as follows: strongly disagree, noted with STS or sangat tidak setuju with score 1, disagree or tidak setuju with score 2, agree or setuju with score 3, and strongly agree or noted as sangat setuju SS with score 4. The data collection techniques are using two data. The first one is primary data and the second one is secondary data. The primary data is using the questionnaires to be filled out by the respondent, and the secondary data is using some references from the books, thesis, and also article journals. The researcher also using the pre-research data in secondary data. They are the attendance record or absence record and also the tardiness record. The analysis data techniques that used in this research is structural equation modeling or SEM, and the researcher used the software SmartPLS 3.2.8, and the researcher also used the descriptive analysis according to the statement from expert, namely Arikunto in 2013, and the score interpretation criteria are 0% to 25% is in category very high, which is the criteria of the answer of respondents are very disagree and disagree. Next is 25% to 50% is categorized as high, and also 50% until 75% is categorized as low. Next, the last one is 75% to 100% is categorized as very low, with the criteria of the respondents' answer are very disagree and disagree. Next is the instrument testing of the research. The first testing is validity test. That is consist of convergent validity and discriminant validity. The convergent validity assessed from loading factor and average variance extracted or AV value. The rule of thumb used is a loading factor value of 0.5 until 0.6. AV value must be greater than 0.5 to be said as valid. This is according to the statement from Ghazali and Latan in 2015. The second one of validity test is discriminant validity. Discriminant validity assessed from cross-loading value that must be greater than 0.7 to be said as valid. The next one of the instrument testing is reliability test. The reliability test is used to prove the consistency and accuracy of the instrument in measuring constructs. Reliability is assessed based on the Cronbach's alpha value and composite reliability value, which must be greater than 0.7. Next is hypothesis test. This research used hypothesis testing by evaluating the structural model where the structural model is measured by the t-statistic value in testing the significance of the hypothesis. This value must be greater than 1.96 for the two-tailed hypothesis. The hypothesis is also using the bootstrap resampling method, which is developed by Geiserstone in Ghazali-Latan 2015. The next one is the determination coefficient test, or usually known as R-squared test. The value of R-squared or R2 is used to measure how much influence a certain independent variable has on the dependent variable, or can be said as the level of goodness of fit of a structural model. The result of R-squared between 0.33 until 0.667 indicates that the model is categorized as moderate. R-squared result of 0.33 indicates that the model is categorized as weak. In order to obtaining a description of the respondent who were the object of this research, respondents were categorized into four categories based on gender, age, years of service, level of education. The data regarding the respondent's profile is presented in the form of a circle diagram. The following is the data obtained by researchers regarding the characteristics of the respondent. The first one, based on figure, it can be seen that the most respondents are female respondents, namely 44 people, which is 57%, compared to male respondents, 33 people, or 43%. This shows that female employees have a greater proportion than male employees at PT Top Karir Indonesia. This is because PT Top Karir Indonesia has many jobs related to administration. Second category is based on age. It can be seen that as many as 44 employees, or 57%, are aged 20 until 35 years. As many as 26 employees, or 34%, aged 36 until 45 years. And as many as 7 employees, or 9%, aged 46 until 55 years. The majority of employees in PT Top Karir Indonesia is 20 until 35 years old, with 44 employees, or 57%. This is because employees in this age group are still very dynamic and adaptive work. Also, those age can be said as millennials, which are the most millennials are most interested in working in startup company. Next category is based on the years of services in PT Top Karir Indonesia. From the figure, we can see and conclude that the majority of PT Top Karir Indonesia employees have worked for 3 until 6 years. There are 53 employees, or 69%, and 24 employees, or 31%, have worked for 1 until 2 years. This shows that the most employees have long enough work experience, which is 3 until 6 years, so that they already mastered their work well and they can do the work professionally. The next category is educational background or academic degree. We can see from the figure that there are 14 employees, or 18%, has a Diploma 3 background, and there are 60 employees with bachelor degree background, and 3 employees, or 40%, with background behind the master's education. So we can conclude that the majority of educational background of PT Top Karir Indonesia employees who became the respondents in this study, in this research, were bachelor degree employees. and they have expertise and knowledge in fields that are in accordance with their educational background, so that they can complete related jobs at PT Top Karir Indonesia. Next, we're going to look into the descriptive analysis result of every variable. So the first one is the descriptive analysis result for OCB. We can see from the overall average in this table, the statement in the OCB variable obtained a disagree or tidak setuju score of 28.40%, and a score of strongly disagree or sangat tidak setuju is 26.23%, so that the total of both got score of 54.63%, and that score is are in the range of 51% until 75%, which categorized as low. It can be interpreted that PT Top Karir Indonesia's OCB is low. Next is job involvement descriptive analysis result. From the overall average in this table, we can see that the statements in the job involvement variable gets a disagree or tidak setuju score of 29.38%, and a strongly disagree or sangat tidak setuju score of 28.90%, so that if in total both get a result of 58.28%, are in score of interval of 51% until 75%. So it's categorized as low category. So it can be stated that PT Top Karir Indonesia employees' job involvement is low. Last one is descriptive analysis result of job satisfaction. From the overall average in this table, it can be seen that the statement in the employee job satisfaction obtained a score of disagree or tidak setuju of 36.62%, and a score of strongly disagree or sangat tidak setuju is 20.39%, so that in total both of them get a result of 57.01%. It is in the score interval of 51% until 75% with low category. It can be interpreted that the job satisfaction level in PT Top Karir Indonesia is still low. Next, the researcher will explain about the validity test result, which consists of two tests. The first one is convergent validity, and the second one is discriminant validity. So, based on the table above, we can show that all indicators are declared valid because they have a loading factor value above 0.5. The largest loading factor value for the OCB variable lies in indicator number 1 with a value of 0.945, while the lowest is located in indicator number 6 with a value of 0.765. In the job involvement variable, the highest loading factor value lies in indicator number 4 with a value of 0.918, while the lowest is located in number 5 with a value of 0.790. In the job satisfaction variable, the highest loading factor value lies in indicator number 12 with a value of 0.951, while the lowest one lies in number 8 with a value of 0.702. Next, we're going to see the discriminant validity. Discriminant validity can be seen from cross-loading matrix as shown in the table.
So from the matrix or table above, we can see that there are no indicators that can predict variables than the variables themselves. So this can be seen from the highest loading factor value of each indicator in the variable column to be measured. Thus, latent variables predict indicators in their block better than indicators in other blocks. Another method for assessing the discriminant validity is by looking at the AV atau average variance extracted. The recommended value for initial research must be greater than 0.5. So the following is the AV value in this research. So based on the table and the figure here, we can see that the variables in this research are OCB with AV 0.773 and job involvement have the value of AV equal to 0.720 and the job satisfaction's AV value is 0.803. All of which have an AV value exceeding 0.5, which means that all variables are valid. After the validity test, the next step is to test the reliability of each exogenous variables. Reliability tests on the outer model can be measured by two criteria. The first one is composite reliability and the second one is Cron-based alpha from the indicator block that measures the construct. The construct is declared reliable if the composite reliability value and the Cron-based alpha value is greater than 0.7. This value can be seen in the tables and graphs below. So we can see from the table and figure here that the variables in this study, namely OCB, job involvement and job satisfaction, have a composite reliability and Cron-based alpha value which is greater than 0.7. That means that all variables here are reliable. Last but not least is the hypothesis testing. Based on the bootstrap estimation using a sample of 77 in the table above, the t-statistical value for the first hypothesis is the effect of job involvement on OCB is 4.405, which can be said as greater than 1.96, and a p-value is 0.000, which is less than the value of alpha or p-value, which must be 0.05. And then the null hypothesis 1 is rejected and alternative hypothesis is accepted, which means that there is a positive and significant influence between job involvement on organizational citizenship behavior in PT Top Karir Indonesia. Next is hypothesis 2. The null hypothesis of hypothesis 2 state that job satisfaction does not affect organizational citizenship behavior for employees of PT Top Karir Indonesia. And the alternative hypothesis states that job satisfaction affects the organizational citizenship behavior of PT Top Karir Indonesia employees. So based on the bootstrap estimation, the t-statistical value for the second hypothesis is that the effect of job satisfaction has an effect on OCB in the value of 2.048, which is greater than 1.96, and also the p-value is greater than 0.05, that is 0.041. Then we can conclude that null hypothesis of hypothesis 2 is rejected and alternative hypothesis of hypothesis 2 is accepted, which means that there is a positive and significant influence between job satisfaction on OCB in PT atau Karir Indonesia employees. The last one is conclusion. After testing and analyzing data results of the research, we can conclude that the description of job involvement that is owned by PT atau Karir Indonesia employees is still in the low category. The most influencing factor is the low aspect of feeling about unfinished work and absenteeism, which is reflected in the attitude of employees who do not try to minimize the level of absenteeism at work. The next one is the low job involvement is also influenced by the sense of duty, where employees think that the work given to them is not a priority. Furthermore, the level of expression of being job involved is one of the most influential factor in the low of the job involvement, where the employees of companies still have a low level of enthusiasm at work. Next one is the description of the job satisfaction. So we can conclude that job satisfaction of PT atau Karir Indonesia employees is also in the low category. And the most influencing factors is the aspect of promotion, which is reflected in the lack of opportunity from the company for each employee who wishes to advance or to have a higher level job position at work. Then there is the co-workers aspect, which is reflected in the attitude of employees who feel that colleagues in the company are not helping others in completing their work. In addition, the pay aspect is also where employees feel that the salary given by the company is still not accordance with their expectations. Next is the description of OCB. We can conclude that OCB owned by the employees of PT atau Karir Indonesia is still also in the low category. The results of the descriptive analysis as a whole state that the level of conscientiousness is still low. This is indicated by the behavior of employees who is lack of initiative in completing work. And then there is also the low level of courtesy, where employees have not been able to work well with their co-workers in completing a job. In addition, there is also a low level of civic virtue that is reflected by the behavior of employees who are not actively participated in solving problems, analyzing threats, and seeing business opportunities for the sustainability of the company. Based on the statistical data result, we can also conclude that both job involvement and job satisfaction affects positively organizational citizenship behavior of PT atau Karir Indonesia employees. The last one, the researcher can give some advices or suggestions to the next researches that can be carried out by other researchers. So this research can be conducted by using other independent variables that are more supportive for organizational citizenship behavior variables, including such as organizational culture, organizational climate, organizational commitment, transformational leadership, and servant leadership. Or it can be employee social responsibility, employee age, collectivism, and organizational justice. The second one that can be given by the researcher is that the research can be conducted in the next research with different research subjects with the same variables, or by using different variables with the same subject or class of research. Next, the researcher can give the advice to the PT atau Karir itself. The first one is the company might be applying rules that reward employees who have high initiative in completing their work. The second one, companies should adopt a family culture so that the employees can work together with their co-workers in completing job. Maybe this can be done by holding games to train teamwork or good cooperation between employees, or it can be forming project teams and give them rewards to the best team who has the best results of this project. The third advice that can be given is the companies should more often involving employees to be involved in solving problems, analyzing threats, and seeing business opportunities for the sustainability for the company, which can be done by regularly holding discussions and also brainstorming to give each other ideas about future business challenges and opportunities. Next, the researcher wants to give the advice about how to enhance the organizational citizenship behavior by holding or improving the job involvement. The first one, the company should implement stricter regulations regarding employee absentee levels. For example, by imposing sanctions, especially for employees who are absent without information, or providing rewards for employees who have the lowest level of absentee in a certain period of time. Second one, the company should provide specific directions to employees regarding work, which is priority for the sustainability of the company. Besides that, it can also provide training such as webinars to provide knowledge and positive energy to employees in increasing their job involvement. And the third one, the companies should more often invite employees to participate in gatherings or outing to increase their enthusiasm for work. By holding interest but still educational games at the office to train creativity and eliminate boredom so that employees are more enthusiastic at work. And then next, how to increase or enhance the organizational citizenship behavior by improving the job satisfaction. The first suggestion that can be given is the company should provide more opportunities for each employee who wants to be promoted by conducting regular and periodic assessment or to see the development and potential of employees who can be promoted to a higher level. And the second one, the company is expected to form a special work team in the office so that the employees can help each other in completing complex work. In addition, it is also necessary to increase the level of interaction between employees, for example, through gathering events or group problem-solving games, so that the relationship between employees is even better and they are willing to help each other in completing their work. So this is the end of the presentation entitled The Impact of Job Involvement and Job Satisfaction on Organizational Citizenship Behavior toward PT Top Karir Indonesia's employees. I would like to apologize if there were some mistakes and deficiencies in delivering the materials of presentation. I would also like to thank Dr. Suherman SAMM as my supervisors of this research and Dr. Solikhah MM as the second supervisor of my research. For once more, I would like to thank all of the viewers and the audience who watched the videos. Hope this video will be useful for study and knowledge in human resource development. Thank you, have a good day, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.